Okay, so funny story, I deleted the video for the session I had, when was it? 7th, I guess. I did what box? It was bike. Yeah. Um I had no clue, like I just had a bunch of videos there and I thought I uploaded all of them, but turns out there's that one video that I deleted and I just noticed right now. So I want to just record, um, yeah, at least show you all what it was about, pretty much. So let's get right into it. Um, gonna start the VPN, HackTheBox SP, and then, oops, go to starting point on HackTheBox. There you go. Machines. Guess I can just get rid of this and create another one. So let's see. Go to starting point. Let's see. Yep, this one. Wait a sec to spawn the instance and give us the IP of the box. Okay, cool. Get the IP. Normally save it in an IP file, just for note keeping, and then I'm gonna run the port scan. But if you watch my previous videos, I don't use nmap to do port scan. I use custom script. So let's see. There we go. And also copy top. All right. So if you need an explanation on the script itself, because what it's doing basically is just doing a port scan. But if you need like uh, you know an explanation on the script and why it chose to use the script, then you can check out my previous videos. Yeah, pretty much. There's one video where I built it. I think it's the first one. Um, yeah. So first thing we're gonna do is change the IP of the box and then run bash. And it says port 80 and 22 are open. Cool. So from there now I can do a port scan. Not really a port scan, but enumeration on the ports. Let's see. I want to replace. Actually, so here I do 2280 and replace, dollar box with my IP or the IP of the box, and yeah, pretty much that looks good. Yep. So put into running SSH, and it's using OpenSSH version 8.2 P1. Now we know the machine is Ubuntu. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we have port 80, which is the web server. Um, and the title is bike. So this is good. So the next thing I did was I added the IP to my host file just for the sake of um, actually the only reason I added it there was because of Babsuite. If in case I want to use Bob, it can't really intercept traffic if it doesn't see a .htb, and that's the default if um, doing stuff on HTTP. So that's why I did it there. Sometimes I did it there just because it redirects to a domain, and it can reach that domain if we haven't resolved that. We haven't resolved the DNS locally. So yeah. So let's go to the website. So it's bike.htb, and we get hello there, website under construction. To get up, please submit our email. So let's do like nothing@a.com, and you get back um, that same thing. So let's open this in PubSub and see what's going on. Okay, so HTTP history. Let's open this. Yep, looks good. Go through pub and submit the email yet again. Need to look at this post request. So let's send this to repeater, I guess. Send. It's URL encoding the email, which is good. From there, you don't get much, but we see that the website is running Express, and that's interesting because if we run what web on bike.htb, um, and we see the same thing, export by Express, so that's interesting. We could look at Swapalizer here, and we actually see it's Node.js. So normally you'd see websites running PHP. In this case, it's Node.js. So that's pretty interesting. I want to say is I guess Node.js is the front end and then Express is the back end. I'm not really sure, but um, yeah, pretty much. So the thing I do when I see anything JavaScript, because this hints the website is purely JavaScript, I go to Pickles all the things, and I look for server-side template injection, and that's basically using did I scroll too far? Using template codes, to run commands, or it says including template code into an existing template. Yeah, pretty much, and that's how you like uh what's the best word to use? You're using the code to run stuff, basically. So the first thing about SSTI that you need to know is you need to know the template engine that's running. Because if you look at this, where is it? Um, there was a this. If you look at the methodology picture, you see there you start from somewhere and then you go on enumerating the template engines. And I guess a template engine would be um, whatever is being used, I guess, by the front end, if I'm not wrong, to render stuff onto the web page. And so different web servers can use different templating engines. It's all about preference, right? So um, you have to know the template engine in order to know, okay, what payload should I use. So we'll start from here, just as they did, and see what happens. So we'll go back here and do 7 times 7. Then we can URL encode this. Let's see. Is that URL encodable? Should I say that? 7 times 7. Path substitution. Do you need to escape this by any means? That looks good. I can go with that. I guess perhaps it would have also done this. Let's see. URL encode. As you type is good. Don't ever use the encoder though, because I'm struggling to get it. Convert selection URL. There we go. URL encode all characters. Oh yeah, that looks promising. So let's do that. Copy the whole thing because I need to encode the squiggly bracket as well. Send. And nothing happens. It just says we'll contact you at 7 times 7. Interesting. So now we can proceed maybe to here. We try add another squiggly brackets, and funny thing, it's doesn't include the $sign. Okay, so let's yeah, we just type it again. So we do 7 times 7. I could type oh no, so let's copy this. I have a huge problem selecting, but URL and good old chars, send. Night errors out. Sweet. We can get data from this. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's erroring and it's giving us some sort of path to some JavaScript file. That's again it must be the one trying to pass. Think of it as when I submit the email. It tells me we'll reach out to you at this email. So whatever is doing that job of rendering our email on the page is the JavaScript that's here. So let's see, it's talking about the path is root, backend node, modules, handlebars, dist, SJS, CJS, I don't know what that is, and handlebars. So the engine that's running here, the templating engine running, is handlebars. Cool. The next thing you need to note though, actually, is I should have mentioned this earlier, is since the from the path here we can tell that the web server is running on /root, meaning it would make sense if root is the one running the web server. So my best guess is if you were to get a shell, you would get a shell as root. Yeah, just cause if the web server is in /root, then root should be the one owning the web server, and so it should be running as root. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. If it's var HTML, it's running as data. If it's in someone's home folder, it's running as a user. So we need to keep that in mind as well. So we found that the templating engine is handlebars. Oops. So templating. Oh no, later. Engine is handlebars. They need to kind of. There you go. So we go back here, look for handlebars. Ooh, and we find there's a command execution. And there's a story behind this actually. That's a good thing about this. There's this bug bounty hunter zombie help 54. He's the one who came up with that payload. back in 2019 when he found it as a 0 day. A 0 day is, think of it as like, it's it's like an exploit, or something that just spawns out of nowhere and there isn't any fix for it. So think of it in that sense. Um, so this is the story behind it, and if you scroll towards the end, you can see in a nutshell, and there we go. It's the same thing we have here. So that's cool. You could check out his blog on that. He pinned it, so it's easy to get it. Um, but yeah, so we go back, and what do you do? Actually, going back to the browser. Cool. So we want to use this payload, right? Um, so I'll just copy it, place it in here, send, and it errors. Really. So it says require is not defined. So the only problem here was, I don't know if it's safe to say this, but the version of Node that's running is pretty old. So it's not recognizing requires a global, and it's expecting another global, which is actually deprecated. So it's expecting process.main module. Let's see. You can see process.main module is deprecated, but if you go back here and look at this is actually the format it's expecting. So it's expecting process.main module calling require. It's not recognizing requires as a global on its own. So we copy this. Let's see, bring it here. Oh no. Okay, cool. So it should run ls minus la, and that's exactly what it does. The next thing I want to talk about is, let's go back to the, where is it? The blog. I saw a json.stringify in his blog, and I was curious, why would someone want to use that? I don't really get the essence, but it's just good to talk about it a little. So json.stringify, let's use that. So we use it right where? I think it's here, like this. Send. And you can see our data is back in Unicode. So that's interesting. And I'm not sure why someone would want to do that instead of getting it in plain text. So maybe it depends, who knows, but yeah, I wouldn't do that. Um, yeah, pretty much. And so we go back and we try get a shell, right? Because now we have command execution. So normally just type shell, and then it copies a curl command on my clipboard. I'll just show you that in a bit. I just come here, paste the curl command, send, and get a shell. And you can see we are root. So remember the whole look at the path and saying it's being hosted on /root, then definitely the web server is running as root. And so that's why you get a shell as root. So I died. So weird reason, but let's just send it again. So maybe go to root, and we can get the flag. Cool. So I shall. Okay, cool. So if we were to do this in Python to make the whole running commands easier, we could do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to call converter, go to bike, send or capture this request. So submit, capture the post request, copy a skull, come here, copy this, sweep, um, create a script here, it's too big, okay, that looks good, and we don't really need the headers, so we can get rid of that, pretty much. See, we want to just replicate what we were doing on Bob, right? So we know we want to submit the email with a payload, right? So what I'm going to do here is replace the email with a variable called payload, which means I'll have payload way up here, right? So we have payload equals to, can copy the payload back from payloads of things. Let's copy it right there. And remember here we need process.main module. So again, I'm gonna copy it from here. Cool. I'll just have URL here. It's good practice. Okay. What else? What else do we need? So we want to pass commands directly. Allow me to add a shebang line here. So we're going to import sys. And the reason why I'm importing sys is so that we pass commands as arguments or an argument because it's gonna be one argument. Yeah, pretty much. So whatever we pass as the argument will be populated here. So at this point, I'm gonna break the payload. Then on top of it, I'm gonna add sys.arg1, which means the very first argument. Get rid of lsla, and then continue with the payload. So the reason why it's flashing red like this is because there's something I missed here. Supposed to close this with a squiggly brackets and then now continue adding upon the payload variable. So we broke payload at this point. Then we are adding on top of this single quote, we are adding our first argument, and then we are closing it with a single quote again, and the whole thing continues as it was. Well, that makes sense. So now we can print our.text, see what we get. So let's see. Yeah, it's a list index out of range because it's expecting at least one argument. So you could do ID. And we get root. But you see, the thing is, this, it's, I don't want to say HTML encoded. It's a really funny way of saying it, but it's not de-entitized. So let's look at that. We could do like import beautiful soap as B. Then we could say like, let's see, say content equals to B, give it our.text and say html.parser, I believe. And then now we want to print the content and see whether it still looks like this. So I guess that looks good. No module name Beautiful Soap. So I guess it's from Beautiful Soap. Import PS4, if I'm not wrong. That's B. Uh, or it's from PS4 import Beautiful Soap. Sorry, I don't know. Like, so let's see. Beautiful Soap as B. Looks good. Sweet. It's still like that though. Hmm. I thought that would change, but it really doesn't. Because this amp sign is actually an encoded or entitized version of, let's see, what's this in HTML? Is it an and sign or what is this in HTML? It's an and character. So it's an ampersand, but it's just saying amp. So I thought using HTML parser would fix that, but it doesn't. Let's see, decode and or and HTML.parser. Yep. Let's see. Um, an escape age equals HTML parser. But they imported HTML. Huh. Yeah, beautiful. So convert entities, beautiful soap.html entities. Huh. Is there really a cleaner way to do this? Mm, don't wanna replace because that's a really bad way of doing it, but I'm gonna go for what's this? The format equals none. To prettify. Is there like a b.prettify? I'm gonna guess that that's the case. Is there a b.prettify? Am I doing this right? B.prettify. Hmm. Let's talk about the formatter where we do none. Let's see, format equals none. I guess we could do like this. Formatter equals none. Not really. I wonder where the soap is coming from. Or it's just like, aha, this. It's some form of pretty print. That's interesting. So beautiful soap 4 from BS4. Soap equals to this. Or it's soap.prettify. Cool. So I was doing it wrong. So instead, so this is the object we're looking for. So this is the so-called soap, and then we can print actually just do it here, soap.fruitify. And it's still there. Funny story. I guess it's not a big deal, but it would be an easy way of reading this, but that's cool. If we do LSLA, we get the output, so now we could get a shell and copies called to my clipboard, get a shell, and read the flag. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Um, Sorry for the misconvenience. I just realized right now that I hadn't um what's the word? I had deleted the video. So I'll be careful next time. Um, yeah, but that was pretty much it. Lots of good stuff to learn there. Um, yeah. Um, Thanks for watching, I guess, and I'll see you all in the next video. An actual recording this time. So, cheers.